the beauty of something like swimrun is it just the sport itself captures people's imagination, which is amazing, and it gets them involved, which is amazing. It takes them to stunning places, amazing, and then of course it's, you know, the next step is, well, you know, I'd kind of like these places to be around for a while. You know, I will, you know, swimming in these beautiful pristine lakes and all these kind of things, and running up through mountains, and you know, running through isolated archipelagos and all these sort of stuff is, you know, you're kind of going around going, I want these places to be around for a while, you know, and that is a big deal for me, and that you know, and it's a serious thing. It's way beyond the sport, and that drives me in a really big way.
Welcome to the Low Tide Boyz, a Swimrun Podcast. I'm Chip.
And I'm Chris, and welcome to episode 37 of the show. This week we have Jon Littlewood from Swimrun Club that's based in the UK. He's doing some really cool stuff for the sport and is, I would dare to say, as stoked on swimrun as we are.
He's
which
very,
is pretty,
very stoked.
Very stoked. Super stoked. Drink, if that's the game you're playing. But more on this interview later in the show.
Yes, so if you have not heard or been paying attention to our Instagram account, we are doing the Ödyssey Swimrun Austin. That's on November 8th this year. We're still dealing with kind of the wildfires here. The past, what has it been? Almost... We had a break where we had like 3 or 4 days of cleaner air that we were able to go to the pool, but the smoke has rolled back in, and we're stuck inside indoors because the air quality is super dangerous. For pretty much everybody there.
Yeah, I went for a run outside with N95 mask on. Oof. And that was pretty miserable. Like my mouth and
sweaty
nose
mouth
area. I've never been so sweaty in my life.
Yes, and if you're itching to do a swim run and you're near or can travel to the Austin, Texas area, the Ödyssey team was cool enough to give us the code LOWTIDEBOYZ with a Z, and that will save you 25% on your entry to any of the races on the Swimrun Austin.
Yep.
So that is really cool, and we are producing now the course preview for that, so keep an eye out for that. If you are doing that race, we'll have all the goodies similar to what we did for the Inkenden one.
Yeah.
So
for shout-outs this week, we are essentially shouting out another country. You know, about a month ago, we shouted out Japan, the country of Japan.
Yes.
This week, we're shouting out the UK. Our listenership has really been growing in the UK, which is just a pleasant surprise for us because we're just surprised when anyone listens to it. But we've really been appreciating all the love and engagement that our meme page has been getting and all the feedback we've been getting from over there. So we just wanted to sort of tip of the hat to everyone who's been listening and sort of sharing the good news about swimrun. And definitely, you know, when COVID is past us and we actually get a chance to travel to Europe, you know, we're probably going to do some whole European tour thing. And, you know, when we stop in the UK, we're going to be really looking forward to meeting everyone and hanging out with everyone. So yeah, shout out United Kingdom.
Keep it up. Now on to the feats of endurance. So this week we have Donnie and Preston. They have been some of our earliest members in our Strava club, the Low Tide Boyz Strava club. So they're getting 2 bumper stickers this week, but they just harness the sort of the spirit of swimrun. They do a lot of partner training together and consistent. I'll say very, very consistent, which is awesome. So congrats on that, and keep up the good work. And if you don't want to miss out on this, be sure to join up the Low Tide Boyz Strava Club and, you know, give everybody kudos, see what everyone's doing in terms of their training. And we've had some good questions there. So there's a little community forum, I guess, on Strava. Someone, if you're looking for a partner for a race or what suit to buy, what goggles, whatever, drop that in the Strava club, and we've been having some really good discussions on there, so that's great as well. I've been enjoying the
intro to this.
The intro to the This Week in Swimrun.
Have at it.
That's
that's what you're doing?
That's the intro.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm not doing the big...
the sweeping...
This weekend swim run.
Run. Okay. Well...
Except that time.
So we heard about a couple swimrun events this past weekend. One was the Åland swim run that took place last Saturday in Finland. They had to modify the race a little bit. There was a 51K distance that they ended up sort of trimming down. So there was a 3.5K, a 8.5K, and a 15K distance events. The water looked super cold. But people seem to still be smiling, so that's good. If you participated in that race, kind of let us know how it went. The other race that we were tipped off about was put on by As Keen as Mustard Events, which is another great name for a race company.
Good, yeah.
This was the Bell Water Swim, BEWL Water Swim Run. That had a 6K and a 10K solo course, and then also had a 21K solo and team course. And it just looked like a really fun local race, which it must be just really cool to be a swim runner in Europe, where you can just kind of like in the US, you could jump into like your local 10K or half marathon. There, you can just jump into a swim run. They're like all over the place. Super cool. So anyway, that's the update for this week. We're pretty sure that we missed some events. As always, feel free to email us at lowtideboyz@gmail.com and tip us off if there's a race that you're doing or that you know about that you want us to include, and we will.
Cool. And now for the Low Tide Boyz update. So our latest column, our swimrun column in the Triathlete magazine, What's the Best Full Spec Swimrun Kit, is out now on wherever digitally you read that, which is actually triathlete.com.
Yeah.
So if there's any other topics or column ideas you have, shoot those to us. But this is the full spec. So we kind of did on the last or one of the episodes of Gear Talk, your budget setup. This is the 180 of that. Like, if money's not an object, what would you get? So chime in, weigh in on that. Another cool thing, we got some new merch. So it's now in the Low Tide Boyz shop or store. If you just go on our website, it's right there. We have 3 different types of T-shirts. We have the standard issue, your navy with your white logo. And then we're doing something cool for, we're calling it our 2020 shirt, which is sort of an inverse. So we have a pink shirt with a blue Low Tide Boyz logo and then a blue shirt with the pink logo. So get one, get both, collect them all.
They're limited runs. We're only going to do these once.
That's true.
So finally, if you really dug our rock flute intro for our Swimrun Engadin show, maybe we can just give people a little snippet so they can kind of remember how awesome that is.
Who doesn't love a good rock flute?
I know, but I think we should just remind people right now.
Like that.
We are currently working on our course preview episode for Ödyssey Swimrun Austin, so look for that to drop soon. And that's gonna be a lot of fun. So look out for that.
Yes. So now on to the interview with Jon Littlewood. So I feel like Jon found out about swimrun a few months ago, loaded himself into a swimrun cannon, and then lit it and just blasted onto the swimrun scene. He has websites going, forums, he's building apps. This guy is cannonballed into the swimrun pool.
Right. And I think it's pretty amazing. I mean, I thought that we were kind of going full speed ahead, but
I think we are still.
I mean, but he started in June of this year and has gone full speed ahead. So I think it's pretty amazing, just to see that enthusiasm, and it really comes through in this interview. And it was, it was a lot of fun. And it was a funny one too. So
it was great. Yeah, we definitely good sense of humor. We hit it off really well. Yeah. And he's even got his own Swimrun podcast that he's working on. They got some on-course interviews at Undeterred. Just doing a ton of stuff to help the sport grow. And he's probably helping what our uptick in the UK has been. Maybe it's just him.
Yeah, he's just
listening to every episode 5
on multiple platforms with a VPN. Anyway, this is a really fun episode. Gives us a little bit of insight. We've been doing like a major sort of European swing, like we had Swimrun Portugal. Now we had the Kraken Swimrun folks, and now we're in the UK, so it's kind of cool to be talking to all the Europeans. But yeah, this is a good one, so enjoy it.
Jon Littlewood, Small Forest.
I can't believe you said that. Okay, with us today we have Jon Littlewood. He's a swim runner out of the UK who's doing some really, really cool stuff for the sport. Welcome to the show.
Hey, hi Chris, hi Chipper, how you doing?
Good. Thank you so much for being on. We met over Instagram, like we've met a ton of swim runners, but it sounds like on the super stoked level about the sport, you're kind of like right up there with us. So why don't you tell us a little bit of how you found Swimrun and what got you really hooked on it?
Sure. I mean, I think I've gone a little bit crazy, actually, to be honest with you. I found a friend of mine.
This is a safe space for.
This is a safe space for crazies about swimming.
It's weird. I'm starting to feel safe. I can feel it. Yeah. Look, a friend of mine runs a kind of fitness and well-being program. It's kind of more than just fitness. It's all about mental well-being, all those kind of things. And obviously, Swimrun is just kind of totally aligned with that. I think it's unlike most other sports in that respect, and it kind of, you see that filtered right through the community. I don't need to tell you guys that the kind of connection with nature. Things like Attilo doing the beach cleanups as part of what they do. All those kind of things just totally resonated with my friend, and completely resonates with me. And if I'm honest, I didn't realize I was a swim runner till I was told about Swimrun. I'm the kind of guy, like we go on a beach holiday, and I'm not one of these people who can lie on the beach, and sunbathe and read a book. I'm not a particularly great reader. I'm the kind of guy, I want to jump in the water. I want to swim to an island. I want to climb onto that island, find out what's going on, swim back, do all that kind of stuff. So when he introduced me to it, I knew straight away that I was going to absolutely love it. And my partner, my girlfriend, Sarah, is the same. We just love this. So that was, sounds slightly crazy, but that was at the beginning of June, we found out, and that's June this year, June 2020. Wow. We found out about Swimrun, and basically I just completely, I knew I was going to love it. So I'm kind of, just so you know, I'm a trail runner, really. I love trail running, and I'm the guy who loves going out when it's pouring with rain, it's seriously muddy, and it's cold, and that's kind of my favorite time to go for a trail run. I love. I started off with road running, not at any particular great level at all. I'm kind of pretty busy with things I do in work, and running just is like, for me, was like meditation. And I know a lot of people say that, and then getting into trail running was even better for me, because I just love. Like I said, I just love getting close to nature. I love being in those kind of places. I'll stay in those kind of, if there's an opportunity to stay in a hut without electricity in the middle of the mountain somewhere, I would take that over staying in a 5-star hotel most of the time. Don't get me wrong, there are a lot of good things about 5-star hotels, but especially after an event, right? Yeah. But look, I love it, and I love. I really love the just with Swimrun, you're running along, there's a bit of water in front of you, and you don't go around it, you go through it. And that I don't know why it's so simple for me, but that is huge. And when you hear people talking about Swimrun, they're so passionate, so excited about it, and they talk about it in a totally different way. I know you guys did triathlon, right? Is that right? You guys?
Yeah, we've done pretty much everything. We triathlon, road running, trail running.
Yeah, most endurance.
Yeah. So I don't know how you guys felt about it, but I found like the triathlon and triathletes talk about their sport in a totally different way. I can't quite explain it, but it is quite different. I know a lot of triathletes have come to swimrun as well, but swimrun is really a lot more about that link with nature, and you know, and because of that, when we're there and we see swimrun is amazing because it takes you to some beautiful places. I mean, you know, Engadin was just, you know, it's just such a fantastic place. Engadin, you know, and it was stunning. And when you're there and you're experiencing that, and you and the way it makes you feel, the last thing you're going to do is throw a bit of rubbish on the ground or do anything like that. All you want to do is preserve these beautiful places, and those kind of things, those sort of values, I suppose, that you see come right through swimrun are massively important to me. Plus, like you guys, I love endurance events, you know, as well. So bringing together those two things is huge. It's crazy. So look, I found out about that in June, and then I've basically gone absolutely ballistic. I mean, I've already done a few events, and I'm doing a lot more this year. I've been lucky; only a couple have been cancelled, and probably the last event I'll do this year is Attilo's Malta event, their end of season event, which is cool. I'm really looking forward to. You know,
man, it sounds like you have quite the primal urge to just get out, explore, and just be out there, which is a really cool. Now, as Chris mentioned, we saw you on Instagram, not you per se yourself, but we saw an image with, it looked like on the Ödyssey Swimrun course with some microphones out, and immediately both of us were like, whoa, we have to find out what this is about. This seems exciting. So tell us a little bit about what kind of inspired that and what brought you out to the course besides obviously the cows.
Well, wow. Well, you challenged me now because you're trying to get me beyond the cows, but you know, there was a couple. I listened to you guys, and what the thing I really want to do, what I realized I really wanted to do was promote the sport of swimrun, get more people doing swimrun, all those kind of things. And unless we all listen to you guys, and I thought, wow, I mean, surely this can be done better.
Oh, that is the truest thing.
Well, Jon, it's been great having you on. You've been a great guest, Jon, and we'll see you later.
We've got to wrap up. Oh no, shit, I forgot this is a recording. It's unbelievable. No, look, no. I thought, you guys, I wanted also to kind of get that real, we wanted to do a podcast. So we set up Swimrun Radio to do some podcasts as well. Mm-hmm. And hopefully some hookups with you guys in the future, just throwing it out there. But, we're based in, especially in the current climate, we're kind of probably in a slightly better position than like you guys to get out to the events in Europe, and sure. And, and I wanted to get right to the participants, those involved in the event, on the day before they go out and race, after they go out and race, do all those kind of things. So something totally different, and right the way through kind of the people doing the experience events, right the way through to the kind of serious guys in the World Series, and just kind of hear what they have to say, at the point at which it's happening, and then get that out there, get that distributed. So it's kind of one of the things we're doing. I set up swimrun.com.
I can't believe it was available.
How did you score that? That slipped past our radar somehow.
Hey, honestly, I had to scrape together. I had to look down the back of the sofa for the change, to be honest with you, gotcha. and scrape it all together. It was a couple of quid, but but yeah, swimrun.com, and out of that, and really and we set up Swimrun Limited in the UK, a company, and the idea, we're not, you can tell by the names, we're not here to promote an open water swimming event. We're here we're here to promote the sport. I really want to promote the sport, and so Swimrun Limited and swimrun.com really were set up as sort of the generic places that we could launch projects which fulfills the mission, if you like, and the mission is to promote the sport of swimrun and of course kind of facilitate for the community. So what do I mean by that? Helping clubs, helping people who want to set up clubs, helping individuals who want a teammate to find a teammate, all these kind of things. And by helping people who are as enthusiastic as me, or at least nearly as enthusiastic as me about these things, to kind of get out there and speak to people about swimrun, get them involved in swimrun, understand the differences between other kind of multi-sports and the way us swimrunners think about the planet we live on and all that sort of stuff. These things are really important to me. So Swimrun Radio is part of that. You guys do the podcast for that very reason. And in fact, just for total chance, the kind of mission for you guys, I know, is pretty much exactly the same as ours.
Yeah,
and,
I was just going to say that. I mean, it's interesting that, I mean, it's definitely a personality type. I think Chipper and I, when we fell in love with the sport and none of our friends knew about it, for some reason we decided it was a good idea to go down this road and do a podcast. And then, I mean, it all happened very quickly. I mean, most fans of the show have heard the story where it was like, we were in his garage, like we are right now, recording, and it went from deciding to do a podcast to coming up with the idea to do a meme account as a quote listener acquisition strategy. It all happened within like an hour. We had email set up. We registered the domain names, like
0 to 100 pretty quickly.
But yeah, I mean, I think our mission, which we put out on our website, like front and center, is really dual, is to help grow the sport in the U.S. and it seems to be global at this point, where we have listeners from all over the world, which is really ridiculous to us. And then also to kind of grow it in the way that we think it should grow, right? Like it shouldn't be this, the
elitist
U.S.
thing, or
it turns into like a pissing contest and how fat, what's your splits and all this stuff for a lot of the more aggro people, and that's just not what it's about. So we're like, hey, we're the only ones putting out this content in the U.S. Like, why can't we put it out in the way that we think
totally,
that sort of respects community, encourages diversity, encourages first timers to come out, promotes women to become part of the sport,
being inclusive, and
so yeah, I just think it's really interesting that it's sort of like separate invention on your part where. You saw that you have a capacity to fill this role in the UK and in Europe, and I just think it's awesome. So what was it that kind of got you to the point where like, you know what, I'm super stoked on this sport. Let me find the quid to get this domain name, set up the company. I mean, that's like not.
Significant.
We see a lot of people's like, yeah, we're going to do a podcast. And it's like they put one episode and then they disappear off the face of the earth. There's like the follow through. It can always be really hard when you have a lot of enthusiasm. So what is it that's sort of keeping you kind of connected?
Flame lit.
And yeah, the flame is definitely lit. So
it's roaring.
Oh, well, I mean, that's, I suppose in a way that the simple, boring answer is that swimrun is great. without swearing, right? It's like I'm just so super enthusiastic about the sport. But as I've said, I also, without getting putting too much of a downer on it, I'm also, massively concerned, like a lot of people are, about what we're doing to our planet. And I think most of us live in cities, and the problem with that, I suppose, is that we've been detached from kind of the damage we're causing elsewhere for a long time, and the beauty of something like swimrun is it just, the sport itself captures people's imagination, which is amazing, and it gets them involved, which is amazing. It takes them to stunning places, amazing. And then of course it's, you know, the next step is, well, you know, I'd kind of like these places to be around for a while, you know. I you know, swimming in these beautiful pristine lakes and all these kind of things, and running up through mountains, and, you know, running through isolated archipelagos and all these sort of stuff is, you know, you're kind of going around going, I want these places to be around for a while, you know, and that is a big deal for me. And that, you know, and it's a serious thing. It's way beyond the sport, and that drives me in a really big way. You know, it's I kind of, when I leave this earth, I want to feel like I've in my own really tiny, insignificant way made some sort of attempt to kind of, you know, to help preserve this planet. And luckily, you know, I also love swimrun, so it makes it easier, you know, to do that. I get to have a load of fun, and other people get to have a load of fun, and you know, also it meets quite an important thing for me, and that's that, you know, to do with the planet, you know, and making sure we preserve what is an absolutely stunning place to be, you know.
Yeah, I mean, we totally agree with you, and Chris and I, very similar. 5 years ago or so, we both lived in the city in San Francisco, and I moved up to Marin because every weekend, and Marin, for those who don't know, it's much more green. There's more trees and stuff than kind of anywhere else in the Bay Area. It's where the Muir Woods are, and all these great national parks and everything. But every weekend we were heading across the bridge. You take the Golden Gate Bridge north across, and you get up to Marin. And it was like instantly, the second you reached the other side, everything was green. There was trees, nature, and we were just so drawn to it that we didn't even realize why. But once we moved up here and there's trees around your house instead of buildings and other things, it really felt more at home for us, I would say. And I think we kind of inserted ourselves more into nature because we have a similar kind of draw to you there. And it's great to hear your kind of environmentalist attitude towards things as well. I think is really good, and obviously that aligns very well with Ötillö's stance as well. I saw they just signed a sponsorship deal with the solar panel company as well, so that's pretty cool that they're pushing it on that front.
Yeah, and for people that are listening, we got some major foreshadowing where we're gonna at the end of the year we're gonna be putting out a calendar. And all the proceeds of the calendar are going to go to one of Ötillö's causes, when we were thinking it might be their green initiative.
Yeah. Is this a centerfold calendar you're talking about?
Yeah. Who's going to do one of the summer month poses?
So Chipper wants to do like pictures of us for 12 months, and I'm just like
nobody,
like I don't even think our wives.
No, they wouldn't want
that.
it. I mean, there would be the last ones to buy it, I think.
So my idea, which I think I'm going to overrule Chipper on this, just because I don't want to be photographed, is we're going to take like our top 12 most popular memes of the year and turn that into like a monthly calendar.
Nice.
Yeah.
And just like I'll have all the proceeds go. I mean, I don't know who's putting up calendars in their fridge or whatever, but you know, there might be a market. I don't know.
Chipper sounds disappointed. I think he would do all 12 months, no?
I mean, if he wants to do his own calendar, I'm
more than
happy to promote that.
I'll sell myself. I have no qualms with that. But yeah.
I love it. But
anyway, let's just that was a major digression. So sorry about that. So why don't you tell us a little bit about, you have your
projects that you're...
Yeah, tell us about your projects and what kind of irons you have in the fire.
Sure. So we talked a little bit about, so we're right in the early stages with all of this, but like Swimrun Radio, we talked about, we've taken on swimrun.com. So really just as a nice central hub for, information for swim runners, pretty obvious stuff. And then finally we got, we're actually in the process of building an app called Swimrun Club. Swimrun Club app, and really the idea behind that is to number one, we kind of feel like hey, look, Swimrun's still, I know it's been going since like 2006, but it's still sort of a relatively new sport. And, you know, what we want to be able to do is make sure that is provide an app basically where we can really improve the sort of training and race experience for individuals. So kind of number one with this app is we kind of want to make this something that has all the features that kind of swim runners need when they're doing events or doing training, because, you know, I think maybe it's not quite there yet across the sports watches you can get and all that sort of stuff. I don't know what your experiences have been like, but, you know, I think right now it's relatively basic, and we want to kind of provide a little bit more. And then beyond that, what we want to do is always, you know, to meet our mission, to meet our goals is we want to provide a load of community features, if you like, so that individuals can find each other if they want a teammates that's kind of got similar, you know, maybe they want to find someone who's a similar speed swimmer, etc., all those kind of things, and but they don't have a teammate yet, and also provide individuals who want to set up clubs, the easy ability to set up their own club, set up events, you know, push out notifications, manage them, all that sort of stuff, and basically, through this app, really simple way of being able to grow that community, hopefully globally. You know, it's because it's a digital thing, it's an app, you know, it's going to work across all platforms.
Right.
There's going to be some amazing Garmin features because Garmin can do so much, right? You know, but right across Android and Apple as well. And it just gives, you know, a way of, like I said, massively improving the experience when you're doing a swim run event, massively improving the training experience, and of course in the future helping people set up their own swimrun clubs, which we all know is like super powerful. You know, if people are out there and they've got the facilities, they've got the ability to easily set up their own club, because we're handling all the kind of boring administration and, you know, being able to take payments if that's what the clubs need to do, all those sort of things, just handle all that for them, basically. And again, that for me is a way of like supercharging this thing. You know, there's probably I've met so many individuals who have started to set up their own swimrun club, and it's like super hard right now because no one knows what swimrun is. You know, they haven't got the infrastructure to do it, and we just want to create a way of making that really easy for people. You know, so I'm kind of really excited, but we need, you know, we need people to test this thing for us. So we're hoping to kind of find those people, and we're kind of cheekily reaching out through you guys to kind of find those people, you know?
Yeah. So it sounds like you're trying to ease the pain points that some of these sole operators have about trying to establish some sort of swimrun presence in their own local community. That sounds awesome. And for sure, when that gets on beta or whatever, we'll be sure to you know, spread the word and amplify it as best we can.
Yeah, I mean, it's
cool.
I feel like it's so necessary because, again, like you mentioned, you know, the sport's it's so young, and I mean, we were just Instagramming with some guy in the East Bay up here, which is, you know, 20 miles from where we are, and he was telling us like, oh, literally, I don't know anybody who does swim run in the East Bay. It's like, I'm the only swim runner I know, and this is like, you know, a major metropolitan area. This is like Oakland, Berkeley.
Yeah, it's like the Bay Area.
You know, and he just doesn't know anyone on that side, which is just kind of ridiculous that's where the sport is. I mean, U.S. is definitely different. We're a little
behind.
There's fewer people that are aware of it, but yeah, I mean, everyone is looking for community, and I think the real genius. One of the real geniuses of swimrun as a concept is the fact that is this sense of community, even while you're racing, right? It's obviously there's people at the pointy end that are crushing it. There's people that are coming in last. There's people that aren't finishing, but throughout that whole experience, it's very welcoming, and we definitely have felt that at every event we've been at.
Yeah.
And you know, it's if you're wired for that type of community, it's really intoxicating. And when people talk about the magic of swimrun, like at events during the race, I think it also, some of that magic sort of sprinkles, you know, that fairy dust sprinkles over pre-race meeting, post-race award ceremony. I mean, the whole thing is just so positive.
Definitely. I mean, it's the first kind of organized race I've done where, like competitors are helping each other in the sort of transitions in and out of the water. It's like it's quite it's pretty unique that, and I can't think of many sports where that are like that. It was cool, and I think because everyone feels like swimrun is new, and we're a small community, and we're all kind of all together. Everyone's talking about how we grow swimrun. What are we doing to grow swimrun? Reaching out to people, trying to get as many people involved. I mean, I ended up when we went to Engadin. I mean, crazy. There's these guys. I'm sort of landlocked where I am, so I go. I swim open water swim in lakes around where I am. So I'm just north of London. Literally just north of London. And then we had a hookup with, again, for Instagram, like how kind of us guys sort of got to know each other, is a small club that's been set up on the south coast. So right on the south coast of the UK, a place called Portsmouth. And so, reasonably far from me, but not too far. And we were just chatting over Instagram. I was talking about going over there for a bit of training because they've got the sea, so a bit of kind of different sort of swimming environment. And he was talking about coming up here and doing some stuff with us. And then eventually, the first thing we could do together, crazy, was Engadin. And crazy.
Good
right?
starter race.
Hey, good starter. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I didn't really think about the altitude, but that's
dip
another
your toes
story.
right in there.
Yeah, that's right. And he, that group, they came over, and in fact, we gave them a couple of that club a lift from Zurich Airport to Swimrun. We'd never met these people, and we ended up like hanging around with these guys. We gave them a lift down. We're chatting like a 2.5 hour drive, chatting away about all sorts of things swimrun related, like how many pool boys I'd already bought, etc. All those kind of thing.
How many? How many?
Me personally.
Yeah.
So bearing in mind, I heard about this sport in June. All right, so you've got to give me some sort of break. But two for myself. And one for someone else.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Congratulations on not going too crazy on the pool buoys.
Testing it all out. I'm like a crazy kit man. Okay, so I love all the kit. I've been through a couple of pairs of trainers already. I've second set of paddles, all that sort of stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm pretty. There's like our spare bedroom. The bed is like completely covered now in swimrun gear, and I even got like an extra rail so I could put up the extra suits and the kangaroo pocket tops and the different. Oh yeah, no messing around. Look, if I haven't got the kit, it doesn't exist. I'm telling you now. It's like I've gone for it.
That's great. Yeah. So I mean, you're kind of saying it's like you met a bunch of strangers, and then because you had this shared passion for swimrun, it just wasn't weird at all on this 2.5 hour drive to
not even slightly. 2.5 hours in a car together, right? I mean, it's quite a big deal, but it just didn't. Yeah, it just didn't matter, And when we were there, we met a load of other people, dinners, of course, beers afterwards, usual sort of thing. But real amazing kind of strong community spirit that you, like I said, I haven't actually seen at other kinds of events that are similar, not in the same way. Sure, there's big, amazing communities in other sports as well, but there's something pretty special about it all. But hey, maybe I'm a bit biased,
Well, we're all biased. We're all biased here. I mean, it's funny. I mean, even when I was talking to Chipper, when I was like, I reached out to Jon and want to have him on the show, he was obviously totally for it. But, part of me was thinking it's like, if this was a different context, there would be a way where we could be like, oh, well, we're competitors. Like, you want to put out a podcast. We already have a podcast. But, in our view, like, we don't see it that way at all. The way we see it is like, sweet, there's someone else who wants to share their love for the sport and expand the sport. And what can we do to sort of help you do that and help it grow? Because, the way we see it, the tent is pretty big. And our ethos is about growing the sport. So if there's other people who are going to help us amplify it and are going to do it in their own way, like, that to us, that's winning, right? And it isn't this sort of territorial kind of weird thing that you see in a lot of different other spaces, I guess. And it's just like, I don't know.
Yeah, and I'll just kind of tag onto that a little bit too. Everyone's going to have we're just doing it our way. And, your great joke before, people very well could be listening and be like, oh man, I just wish they would be more serious or not do this or that. Like, I'm sure there's quips about us, but you're going to do it your own way. We're not fortunate enough to get like on course interviews. Like, that's so cool. And I'm super jealous that you got to do that. It looks so awesome just being on the course and everything. But yeah, and it's not like I think the Swimrun community would love more podcasts to listen to. Their ears are hungry for such content, I believe.
Especially in the UK. We have a huge...
Yeah.
There's just so much positive energy for Swimrun in the UK that we've experienced, and people have reached out to us. So I guess I'm saying really that cool. In a way of like, we want to encourage you and help you. And I think just the fact that that's our shared perspective is one of the things that makes the sport really unique.
That's it. And look, and by the way, I'm super grateful. It's great to be able to come on and do this. It really is. We all love the Low Tide Boyz. Everyone's talking about the Low Tide Boyz. When I'm going to these events, they need to start talking about Swimrun Radio as well. Yeah. We'll get there, and we want people using the app. We want to get people kind of testing the app for us and giving us a load of feedback and hopefully making this thing the best it can be. So that's huge for us. Huge.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Awesome. What sort of plugins will the app have? Is it I guess is it kind of a thing about, you would use it to plan out your Swimrun route to use with your Garmin, or is it community, or is it kind of every bit of that, I guess?
Both of those things. So in the first phase, we just want to make it kind of the best kind of sport activity that it can be. So on your Garmin, download. You could automatically download the routes. Have things like the cutoff. A countdown to a cutoff time if that's what you want to see. All those extra little quirky little bits that you don't get just in a normal multi-sport function. So that's kind of phase one, and that's what we want help with testing, because we want everybody to be able to use that, and that gets everybody using it. Really, just the fact that they're when they're going to an event, they're in an event, or they're planning training or whatever it is that really it's the best thing to use, whether you're using an Android device, a Garmin device, or even Apple. So we've got can't talk about it yet, but we've got a little sneaky way of making Apple watches work well in the water. So,
interesting.
And I think that's cool because one of the other things I love about the Swimrun, and this is important as well from the app's perspective, and where it was actually originally born out of, the app idea, is that, triathlon, the thing about triathlon is the bike, right? Wow, man, these bikes cost more than my car. These days, and that makes it really, really super hard for people to get into, actually, and because some guys have got like the kind of the £20,000, the £30,000 bike. Other people are struggling to find a bike
That's
at
heavy.
all. Yeah, right. You know what I mean? And it's or not heavy,
nice try,
of course.
Yeah, I know. I couldn't help myself.
But these things. So I think. The beauty of Swimrun is, of course, there is no bike. A mate of mine, kind of bought like a cheap sort of shorty wetsuit, got himself a pool buoy,
it's ready to
some
go.
goggles and a hat, like 60, 70 quid, done. you know, and that is amazing, right? Amazing. And one of the things is like, you know, a lot of us endurance guys and girls, you know, we've got a lot of us have things like a Garmin device or something like that, but these are not cheap, you know. So a lot of them are not cheap devices. Whereas something like an Apple Watch is obviously you can use it for more things, etc. And a lot of people already have Apple Watches, and we thought, well, why not? How do we deal with we all know like Apple Watches are completely terrible if you're in the water.
Swimming,
yeah, so not great for swimming, but we got a little sneaky way of dealing with that, and we've actually tested that a little bit, and basically we got Apple Watches now kind of a useful device. It works really well actually. So that's something else we want people out there testing, and it just means again if you suddenly coming to swimrun for the first time and you don't do endurance sports generally, you don't do multi-sports generally, things like that, you know, the chances are, if you've got a wearable device, we know, unfortunately, most people have got an Apple device, and you know, we found a way of making that work for swimrun. So we're kind of super excited about that. And again, it kind of makes the whole thing, that kind of making it more inclusive for sport, inclusive for people is another way of achieving that.
And it's almost like, I mean, what I'm hearing a theme is sort of reducing the barrier to entry, whether that's you know, there's a couple of different ways that's manifested, right? But yeah, I mean, I feel like even the club aspect is a way of reducing the barrier to entry, right? If there's people you can
100%.
talk to, people you can just
100%.
go and. I mean, it does. I mean, we just did that with our local triathlon club. We just did like a little presentation talking about the sport or whatever.
What is it? 101.
You know, we've been on Zoom calls where people have asked us, like people that are training for swimrun asked us to come on and just like answer their questions about the sport, which we're like, why are you asking us? Like we don't know. You got to ask some real people. But yeah. So I think that what I'm really liking about the app is the fact that there's all these different ways that you're reducing the barrier to entry, whether it's finding people to train with, finding events, recording data. So it sounds awesome.
Yeah, and funny enough, I actually just shared with Chris yesterday this graphic that I saw that Apple Watch increased their share of the wearables from like 54% to 58% or something, and Garmin was a distant second, I believe, at 17-ish, 16, 17% year over year.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. I mean, a lot of people just kind of have these, and I think that again, lowering that barrier to entry, that's something that we've hit on several times here, and I think that's something that's really important. I mean, I remember when I first kind of got into triathlon, I was the guy on the road bike, and when you're going along and everyone's zooming by you with these bikes that you know are like $10,000 and they have aero helmets and skin suits and everything, you're like, I guess I need all that stuff to be good. And it's kind of this weird, like, keeping up with the Joneses type of scenario to where, hey, if Chris gets a new bike, then I got to get a new one. It's like this pissing contest kind of thing. Now we just do that with wetsuits.
with pool buoys.
Yeah, with pool buoys.
They're just exactly. It's just a little bit cheaper, right? But yeah, look, I'm a kit guy. It's fun to buy kit, you know, and bikes are fun, you know. They're getting into a place now where, wow, like I'm thinking about, you know, do I remortgage my home or what do I do here to support this kit addiction, you know?
Yeah.
The good thing about that also, wetsuits are easier to hide from my girlfriend.
Ah, yes,
there they
are.
You know, a bike is a really difficult thing to hide. You know, you can't just walk in the front door and say, "Hey, honey, you know, I'm just going to pop upstairs quickly. Nothing's going on. You know, I'm just you know, whereas a wetsuit is, you know, you turn it inside out, it kind of looks like the old wetsuit, you know. So it's you know, it's like it's.
You got some good tips here. I like this.
That's a pro tip. If your spouse is your partner is giving you shit about your swimrun kit addiction, turn the suit inside out. Pro tip, right?
Hey, look, it is. I'm telling you, if there's one thing I'm a pro with, it's hiding new kit. You know, certainly not at the event itself, but yeah, total pro when it comes to the kit.
Yeah, and even the wetsuit. I mean, that's for some people, a couple $100 or $200 is still a lot of money for a sport that they may or may not be. And that's, I think we really like what kind of ARC Sports is doing with their rental program at the Atalo events, and hopefully, Head and Roca and other companies, kind of Blue 70, get on that bandwagon for some of these local ones and really get people out there. I mean, I know when Chris and I go out to our little swim run events, if a friend's going to join and they don't have the kit, Chris and I have other suits that we just bring out, and are you medium or are you kind of like a large? And you have two options. We have multiple pool buoys we can loan you, and just helping people just bring your shoes and some goggles, and you'll be ready to go.
Yeah, you know what? There's some great guys in the UK doing something similar over in Wales. Called Love Swimrun, and those guys, give them a little shout. But those guys are amazing, and going to see them shortly. And again, they have, it's great. They kind of do all the kit. They help you with the transitions, they help you with kind of things like the bungees and all that sort of stuff, the towing, swim towing. And it's kind of cool, it makes it easily accessible for people. It's not expensive. I love all that kind of stuff. It's great.
So John, let's kind of like take a bird's eye view of kind of what's happening in the UK in terms of swimrun. I mean, it seems like a really vibrant.
You got Brecca.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of events. There's Isle of Scilly, which is a Atala race out there. There's a lot. Seems like there's a lot of positive energy. I mean, we got a lot of good feedback from folks in the UK about our show. Can you just give us a sense of is it just tons of enthusiasm, still little pocket? It seems like a lot of people know about swimrun in the UK and are really stoked on it. Is on the ground, sort of living there.
Boots on the ground. What's the report?
Roving report, right? So look, it's still same problem that you guys talk about in the kind of finding. When you're a swim runner, it feels like a pretty isolated sort of existence, to a degree still in this country. But there's some great things going on. I mentioned, kind of Love Swim Run, something this Chloe runs over in Wales, and, they're doing kind of proper coaching and letting people try gear and all this sort of stuff. They're running their own events. It's a beautiful scenery there as well. Amazing. And then you mentioned Brecca are really kind of in the world of swimrun. They're kind of relative old boys now, Brecca, Ben at Brecca has been running that quite a few years now, and amazing, really well established, really well organized events. Pretty hardcore, Brecca. It's pretty hardcore.
They got some monster events for sure.
Yeah, monster events, but and then you got probably less well known. I don't know if you've heard of As Keen as Mustard, those guys, but
no.
But As Keen, so As Keen as Mustard. Okay, cool. So As Keen as Mustard run their own swimrun series actually, and fair play. It's actually sponsored by Head as well, so they got a great sponsor there, and that's it. And there's even some involvement from all the way over in Sweden, the Wild Swimrun crew, Fanny,
sure, of course.
and of course Fanny, By the way, I'm like Fanny's next door neighbour. I also live out in Barcelona part of the time, and
no kidding.
Okay, I'm not. So I'm not quite her next door, but we keep meaning to hook up, and then the big coronavirus keeps on kind of scuppering our plans. So in fact, I'm speaking to you now. I'm in the UK, but I was meant to be sitting having a coffee with Fanny over in Barcelona, but what can we do? This isn't too bad, guys. I don't mind speaking to you.
I would say
it's a great substitute.
This is like Plan F. That was Plan A. This is Plan F.
No, come on. This is Plan A plus. This is Plan A plus. So those guys
the pubs weren't open yet.
Yeah, they're open now, I tell you. But As Keen as Mustard, they do a bunch of events. So I think maybe I'm doing 5 or 6 of their events this year.
Wow.
And they look like they're still going ahead, which is amazing. And so and then like I said, there's this. I said Portsmouth. They're like a South Sea Swimrun Club, actually, which is just next to Portsmouth, major city. There's little pockets of clubs growing up, and where I go open water swimming, they do kind of, this is an events company. They do sort of triathlon events. They've just put on an aquathlon, so getting close. And actually, I met with Active Training World, and really weird, but their offices are literally like, it's like it was meant to be. They're literally like 100 yards from my office.
Wow.
I said yards because I know you guys understand the yards more, right? So
yeah, we definitely know.
So they're just down the road. So I met with the guy, with James there, who runs that the other day, and we're talking about putting on a swim run event locally. And where we are, we couldn't like be further from the coast, So this is we're super landlocked where we are, but we find a way to put on these things. And now I find when I'm going open water swimming, and obviously I'm going there looking insane, right? Because like everybody else, and they're like full amazing open water super duper wetsuits, and there's me rocking up in my shorty that I've put on backwards because right, there's the big zip at the front, and everyone's going, mate, you've got your suit on the wrong way around. And why are you wearing football shin pads? And by the way, you're just about to get in the water and someone's stopping you to tell you you've still got your shoes on. And it was a bit crazy. So at first it was really like that. Like people are like, what are you doing? You look, just what are you doing? It's just crazy. You've just walked in, your bright orange trainers, you've just walked into a lake. What is going on? You look like you're about to play, because obviously football's massive here. So soccer, is just, you look like a soccer player, because I'm one of those people, I'm one of those people, my legs sink like stones. So I'm one of those people who wears all the floats, you know what I mean? I've got the pool boy, I've got the floats on my legs, I've got them on my thighs, I'm doing all that. So you just look completely mad to an open water swimmer. And then of course your paddles, right? And then your paddles on. So, completely nuts. But now more and more, I've started to, like, people know that they're coming up to you, they're going Swimrun, right? And that's cool. Yeah. Really cool. And even a couple of guys the other day I met, and they were in Swimrun wetsuits, and they were like, yeah, we've done a couple of events, and nice. Blah, blah, blah. And it's really, and that is really starting to happen. And that's obviously, like, I've only just really come to Swimrun, and that's happened over like a really, really short space of time, Obviously Attila doing massive things for Swimrun, of course they are, obviously they're kind of the founding fathers, if you like, and people know them now. People know them. It's getting to be quite a big deal, and these events in the UK are filling up. It's good to see. It's good to see, really well organised, and it's constantly raining here, so we're already wet anyway, so we might as well get in the water as part of our run.
Probably like a swim run kit's probably just good to wear.
Yeah, that's right. I'm just walking around town in mine now. Well, I'm just trying to promote the sport, right? So I'm going to buy the veg in my swim run gear, because I've got to, like, I'm properly testing that kangaroo pocket on my little Arc top, filling that thing up with fruit and veg, at the supermarket.
That's hilarious.
I love it. I mean, it is really interesting. I think we feel like. We felt this way in January, and coronavirus kind of put a pause on that, but we still feel that Swimrun is just on this cusp of really just kind of taking off for a lot of the reasons we've talked about on the show. But yeah, it's so great to hear what's happening in the UK, and yeah, really appreciate you taking the time to be with us today to talk about everything that you're doing. We love talking to people that are stoked about the sport like we are. So just wanted really to thank you for coming on and sharing your love for the sport with our audience.
Yeah. Look, great to talk to you both. And can I just, do you mind if I ask for people to go to Swimrun Club?
Well, yeah, we were just going to ask you that.
I was just going to take you there. You got a lot of iron. You got a lot of irons in the fire. A lot of things incubating. So when this comes out, hopefully we're trying to align it to where the app will be in beta or be able to be tested. So where can people go if they're excited about this new app and Swimrun Radio? Where would they go to find all these things?
Chipper, amazing, thank you. So yeah, I'd love them to go and register at swimrunclub.com. So swimrun.theclub.com, or they can go to swimrun.com and they'll find Swimrun Club. And just if they can literally register their name and email address, and we'll reach out to them, and they'll be the first to test the new Swimrun.
They'll be behind us. We're gonna sign up after this, and they could be number 3 and 4 or whatever. Perfect. I'm loving it. And when all this plays out, we'll come across and see you guys, and I hope to see you at some swimrun events over in Europe in the future as well.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
As soon as Americans can travel someplace, we'll be traveling.
Cool. Amazing.
Well, Jon, it's been great. We really appreciate you coming on. Obviously, you got a really great outlook on the sport. You're fired up. Great sense of humor. We absolutely love it, and this probably won't be the last time that we'll hear from you, I have a feeling.
Right. Guys, look, I'm just super grateful to be invited onto the show. I really enjoy it, and I love the opportunity to be able to talk about what we're trying to do here.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks, man. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Low Tide Boyz, a Swimrun podcast. Make sure to subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast and leave a review on iTunes if you're so inclined.
You can also sign up for a newsletter at lowtideboyz.com. That's boys with a Z. And check out our meme page at the Low Tide Boyz on Instagram. If you have any questions or suggestions for the show, drop us an email at lowtideboyz@gmail.com.
We'd like to thank Writing Easy Records for our show music, and of course our wives for their support and tolerance of our swimrun activities, hobbies, and other bullshit we do.
Finally, you can support our efforts on Patreon. Until next time, get out there and go for a swim.
And then a run.
And then another swim.
Then another run.
And then another swim.
And then run to the finish line. And just keep going until you're done.
Yes, or
until
run
you
to
cross the finish line.
Or run to the car.
Or run to your car.
Somewhere. Just keep running.
Peace.